Final time this season. It is the last game on the Tasmanian footballing calendar. The promotion playoff game for the Women's Super League. The Southern Championship champions Olympia earning the right to take on a University who finished last in the Super League for the final spot in the Super League next season. That is what is at stake. It's the first game of its kind here in Tasmania. So we have a look at the trophy on offer today, although the bigger prize certainly the entry through to the Super League for next season. University made a pretty good late push to try and avoid the last spot, just fell short, but their form certainly picked up late in the year. But they're under no illusions. They are up against it today against this Olympia side who may well have played the season in the championship, but are well known to be one of the strongest sides in the state. And they showed that in the statewide cup. Through to the semi-finals of that, and there's still some wonderful talent on their playing list for this match. And I think despite the fact they come in from the championship, they enter this game as pretty comfortable favourites. And it's going to take a big effort for University to keep them out, but they have been able to play spoiler to Olympia before. I can remember a game in the pilot edition of the Super League, I think it was, where Olympia were absolutely flying and looked unbeatable at that stage, and University over at Warrior Park picked up a 2-1 victory. It was a big upset on that day, so they do have some form in that area, but it will be a tough task up against a high-flying Olympia team. Perhaps the one worry they might have will be the fact they've not played a lot of highly competitive games this year due to the fact they've been in the championship. But here is the University lineup for the game. I'm not sure that's the right one there, Ash. That's the one, that's what we're after. I was going to say, I'm not recognising many of those names. Phew. Right, that's more like it. That is our Olympia lineup for today. Eliza Vodich at the top there. Georgia Burley has had a fantastic season, polled in the double figures in the Super League Best and Fairest last year. She'll be important. Nadia Dandolo, Kate Fraser. Michaela George has been in sterling form between the sticks. She's going to be very important today against this Olympia team. They've scored so many goals this year. Olivia Leon, Sophie Muir, Mish Tadros, another one who polled in the double figures in the medal count. One of the better central midfielders in the Super League. And Ella Tentari, and then the Young sisters there, rounding out the lineup. Olivia and Sophie Young, there's some real pace between those two. Key to the way they counter-attack are the Youngs. On the bench is Lovell, Refai, and we're on to Olympia before we can get the last two out there, but we are under the gun here with kick-off looming. Piper Allenby in goals for the Warriors. Maddie Black, Olivia Bomford. The best and fairest winner of the Southern Championship, Madison Chambers, took that out on Friday night. Georgia Crawford was played for Tasmania, as a number of these girls have. Sophie Lazinski in there. Bonnie Davies just scoring goals for fun this year. Innocent Michael, well, one of the best players in the state. Fairly handy in the central midfield area there. Rafaela Puli, Darcy Quinn and Jade Williams round out the Warriors lineup for today. On the bench, Cure, Flack, Mamich and Russell. That is the lineup for the Olympia Warriors today. In this first of its kind promotion playoff game between University and Olympia. A bit of a windy day here at KG5. The trees certainly giving that away on the far side of the ground. That'll impact things. It'll be going to the right of your screen at Olympia's backs in this first half. So can they seize on that advantage early on? It'll be very tough sledding for them if they have to chase the game into this wind in at the second half. It's a very strong Warriors lineup out there today. But will they be ready for such a big match? They've scarcely been challenged this season. But there's enough talent in the lineup for them to enter this one as favourites against University, who started slow and were playing catch-up really ever since in the season. Made a decent late bid. Played their best football over the last month of the Super League season. But it's certainly going to be them up against it today against the Warriors, who I think most would regard probably as one of the top four sides in the state. Certainly on talent. There's a case they're probably even top three, top two, and they will be out to prove a point this afternoon, I'm sure. I'd expect to see them controlling more of the ball. I reckon we'll see a fairly defensive kind of setup from University. They're a tough team to break down when they can sit in. The big, wider expanses of KG5 probably don't really suit them. I think they would have preferred this game, maybe even at Warrior Park, Olympia's home ground. I think probably would have suited this university team more than it does KG5, so it's going to be tough for them to sit in, but I expect 2 banks of 4. They'll make themselves hard to break down and try and hit them on the counter-attack with the pace they have at their disposal. And there's plenty of it for the Warriors and University. Some real toe out there. We'll see how they go. We're underway in the promotion playoff game. Monty Davies taking the ball forwards and showing her trademark speed, and let's fly with an early sighter there, just wide of Michaela George's goal, but not messing about there, Monty Davies. She's very much a direct player, likes to run at the defence, drive at them. And it looks like Innie Michael pushing up top here for the Warriors, which is an interesting tactical move. Depth wherever they play at, as George tries to bend this one down on the breeze. It's going to be tough for the keepers today, these conditions. Olivia Bomford, always a key mover, dispossessed there, and University try to play their way out from the back. They've turned it over here. It's Maddie Chambers, the best and fairest, who drives the byline and then just takes it a little bit too far, running out of real estate there. So no harm done at the back, but I think this pattern being established in the first minute is one we can expect to see. Olympia employing a very high press. Look at them, they are really pressing up here, and they're going to try and seize on the goal kicks today as Chambers knocks it back there to Quinn. Olivia Bomford will run the show in the midfield despite the fact she's wearing that number 9. Wide they go. They'll attack through Monty Davies. Real star up top. Scored close to 60 goals this season. Just knows where the back of the net is. Bomford. Forced to go backwards there by Sophie Muir. Lazinski. Now Chambers. Plenty of the ball early, and pass couldn't quite find Jade Williams, and University now with a chance to counter, but they're unable to keep a hold of the ball here. Bomford quickly back on it. Sends it wide for Davies. Plays it back for Purley. Crawford. Patient build up this from the Warriors. And probe away. Georgia Crawford. Look away pass. Was tidy to Bomford. Stood up there by Muir. Sends into the area. Michael will give chase. Won't get there, as just sliding in alongside me here for all the call today. Paul Hunt. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Apologies for the lack of punctuality. There was a particular Land Rover Discovery causing me quite some pain at about Baghdad about half an hour ago. But we are here, and big clash already. Of course, it's the first game that's kicked off at 2 o'clock in the entirety of NPL and WSL this season.
Yeah, we're on time today.
We are down to the second on time.
The Warriors are on the attack here and steered away by Lisa Bodic, who finished the season in really strong form. She's going to be so important to them at the back today, the captain is Bodic. And the pattern being established early, they are really going to have to absorb some pressure. Mish Tadros stepping in, gets a good foot in there, but Crawford comes through for the Warriors. Tadros again, as well defensively. Chambers now with a chance for the Warriors. Dribbling in, Tadros intercepts it. Doesn't really have anywhere to go with it though. No one offering the short pass, and just forced to whack it out of play. All being played almost exclusively in the Warriors' final third in these opening few minutes. Perhaps not a surprise. University will sit in and look to get them on the counter when they can get the breaks. And Sophie Muir can get past Darcy Quinn there. Throw in, taken there by Fraser. Quinn again, of course, if we're tied after 90 minutes today, he'll have added time and penalties. Sticking a long way ahead.
Very long way ahead. You see Olympia looking to recycle it out the back line. Be Black. Out to Purley. Patient build-up I've seen so far in the first few minutes from the Warriors. A lovely step over down the line, looking to get in the box. Michael Gurley got there with the thigh. Michael, it's eventually out for a corner kick, but there's a real chance of the game for innocent Michael.
Yeah, Bonnie Davies showing her pace again, just throws in a step over and tears past the fullback. Pretty dangerous ball in towards Michael, who met it with the knee in the end as the corner taken quickly and short and worked in by Davies. Can't quite pick out Crawford. Now Quinn tries to chip one to the back post. And stays in the field of play. And Tantari will work it up there to Sophie Young, who's able to control it. So it really is the Warriors bossing possession. Having a few moments here. Probing away. Trying to get in behind Sophie Young here, who wins the throw for the Bees. I don't think they'll be too bothered by not having the ball, University. They're a very disciplined and structured team defensively. It's been drilled into them both by their current coach, Amajan Baker, and their former coach, in particular Patrick Watts. So a big exponent of the bus park to the counter-attacking philosophy, and this is where they'll look to pounce. The first time today, University showing a bit of a threat. Should be controlled at the back. Slight miscommunication there between Black and Piper Allenby, though, and a throw in a good position, and the first chance for University to try and do some damage.
Getting a real shades of a Celtic versus Barcelona Champions League game from about 4 or 5 years ago, where they had under 20% possession, did Celtic, and managed to win the game. And I think that's going to be a similar setup here for University today. And as they'll have a throw in on the far side of a sun-drenched KGV, although I reckon we'll be getting some rain fairly soon, unfortunately, as that's down the line in the Burleigh direction, but we'll shepherd it out for Madeline Black. It'll be Olympia to get it started. It's an interesting short goal kick where there's 4 University players against 2 Olympia ones, and they'll just about get out of it from the skill of Purely. Now Bomford lay that one out wide to Quinn. Looking to play the 1-2 with Williams. Back with the centre back, a lovely through ball, looking for Chambers, who's in on the left-hand side here. It's Maddie Chambers, just, I think, possibly hit that with the right foot as she went to plant it to throw it in. Sorry, to cross it in.
It's Olivia Bomford again, breaking lines in the midfield. It's a lovely little reverse pass in behind, and Fraser's going to need to watch the space she's giving Maddie Chambers there, although both fullbacks are tucking in quite tight as part of this setup, which will give, by design, the width to Chambers. And perhaps they're happy for her to have the ball out wide, just trying to deny her in and around the penalty area. Been fairly compact in the way they've set up early. Here's Michael playing that centre forward role today, and she strokes this one across to Bonnie Davies, who just tried to knock it past Tantari. Wasn't having a bar of it. Now Rafaela Purely charging back the other way, knocks it back for Davies. Not sure if there was a dummy or an air swing. She'll recover it nicely though and try and turn onto that right foot of hers, the trusty right. Can't break through, but Innie Michael might. Innie Michael, good foot in from Tadros. Darcy Quinn back in towards Michael. Michael turning onto that right and lashing it with the laces. A great fingertip save from Michaela George. Michael flashing her threat, but George passes the first test for the day.
Very good save there from Michaela George. Innie Michael getting a good pocket of space. Once she beat the first University defender, the second defence was a little bit slow in getting across. Managed to get the shot on target. And there we go, a good save from George as they've taken the corner. Already have Olympia, that'll be cleared from Young. And it'll be another corner for the Warriors. Just on reflection, a very tactical game here this afternoon. I personally enjoy a good tactical battle of 2 contrasting styles. See who comes out on top. It's one of the great things about this game. Tactics can play such an important part as Olympia try to play the short corner, and eventually it's cut out from Tadros. She'll look to turn and play it forward. And Aldo just takes it off her feet. Back to Tentari. Searching ball down the line. Eventually run out of real estate. Go out for an Olympia throw, but it just gives Uni time to press up to the halfway line and hopefully try to box the Warriors in.
Yeah, you can see what they're doing when they do get the chance. They're trying to get it wide, get forward quickly, and then you've got Young and Tadros really shielding the back four. Tadros especially staying back deep, and then they've kind of got the wingers and attackers just trying to box them in, pressing with a few. They'll put pressure on the back because Olympia, we saw in the cup against Taruna early in the year, got themselves into a little bit of trouble passing out from the back. Taruna were really sweating on them, so they do very much like to play it out from the back, keep it on the carpet. Here's Maddie Chambers. Looks it back. Ball there from Madeline Black, stretching the field and finds Davies. Davies has been oh so keen to run at this University defence early on. She draws a couple to her, then sends it across for Darcy Quinn. Quinn thought she had a fullback overlapping, but it was just Charlie White who was just lurking there behind her. She goes herself, puts the cross in, and again it's structured at the back and they're able to repel. They're holding on pretty well at the moment. Just the one real dangerous moment where Michael threatens Hadros, just excelling at breaking the play up. She'll have strong shouts for a spot in the team of the season, despite the fact her side are in this relegation playoff game. And a very good year, Mish Tadros. This one's worked forwards. Maddie Black. Again, keen to hit the feet of Davies, and there's plenty of bodies forward in support. Crawford splits out to the right. She heads to Michael. Michael jinking back inside. Tried the little reverse ball. Again, unable to break through, but she'll get another crack at it here. Drops it back for Bomford. Spreads it out for Quinn. Brings it down, knocks it back to Chambers. Chambers now. Couldn't get past Dandolo. Crawford back to Chambers. Back to Lazinski. Now Quinn. Decisively away once again there by Bowditch. He's looking a model of composure at the back early on here for the Bees.
Really marshalling the troops as well in the defensive line, really leading by example in terms of pushing up after the clearance as well. And really wanting Olympia to keep playing it sideways and backwards as Michael bursts down the line. There's three waiting in the box. Michael twisting and turning, hits the byline. Again, still going, Eddie Michael knocks it back to Bomford, who puts it high. And not terribly handsome, out for a goal kick, but another probing chance for Olympia. They're really sticking to their game plan and a patient build-up.
That's what they've got to watch out for, the spaces between their two banks there. They have the defence very, very deep back in the 6-yard box. And there's just a pocket of space, which we saw Olivia Bomford drop into. As Crawford is infringed there, and that'll be a free kick in a good position. Chance to ask another question. Bomford heading straight to it. We've seen Olivia Bomford dropping some bombs from long range in the past. It's probably more of a crossing opportunity, but don't rule out the shot despite the angle. She does just send it into the mixer though, and it's a good goalward header. Comfortably collected in the end by Michaela George. Who's dealing with what's come her way pretty well so far. She's just asked too much of the teammate there, setting it out in front. Olympia, once again, get back on possession. Throw in taken short. Knocked back to Lazinski. Sophie Lazinski pressured there by Muir. Into the middle for Bomford. Sophie Young lurking about, but Bomford is running her own race in the middle so far. Breaking lines, does it again, launches the long shot. That's blocked away there. Coming off second best in the end was Olivia Leon.
Right. That was a right, caught that one right in the face. Did Olivia Leon. Ooh.
Big Falcon.
Big Falcon.
The effects of it, but got straight back to her feet. She knew she's the centre back, and the Warriors were driving at them. Diligent.
Olympia now looking to get it started through Purely. Lovely shielding of the ball there from Bomford. Forward out to Quinn. Williams offering short. Quinn elects to go down the line. It'll be Chambers cutting inside. Maddie Chambers still going here. Really wanted to try and get back on the left peg. It'll be Purely. And I think was looking for a forward run there from Eddie Michael to try and get inside the 6-yard box, but just hit with a bit too much sauce on it. And Uni, whilst Olympia have had all the possession so far, only really one clear-cut chance, unless there was one in the first 90 seconds that I missed.
Nothing you'd say they should have scored. It's been really 15 minutes of the Warriors probing away here, trying to find cracks in the armour of the Bees, who are holding up pretty well so far, but Bonnie Davies slides this one in, and this is a promising build-up. Knocks it back to Bomford, who gets too much of it. It's underneath it, leans back and cracks it over the stand. And shooting just a little bit off so far. The Warriors, who are going to run into too many defences like this in the championship this season. Quite have the structure and discipline that University is showing. Making life tough for this Olympia team. Of course, will be well and truly used to bossing possession. Finding space a little bit harder to come by, despite the fact they're on such a big field. Imagine Baker has got this uni team situated pretty nicely. Dendolo played it inside, and now a chance for Young on the break. Young charging through here, Sophie Young, but coming across was Lazinski to whack that one away. That's where University will look to do the damage on those counter-attacks. That's a very good challenge.
Still pushing forward with 4 players there, University, so they're not shy in getting forward once they do get possession, but they're really concentrating on that strong bank of 9, 4 defenders and 5 midfielders, as that one's thrown in, and Black trying to deal with it. Doesn't fall out on this occasion, goes to Olivia Young, who puts it into the box. It's now Young, Burley, beaten out eventually by the wall of blue, to fall to Tadros, who has a shot. Black thumps it clear, only as far as Pewley, turned over again to the Bees. Young given away in a dangerous area, and Olympia will look to break. It's Bonnie Davies on the charge, gets past Leon, finds Michael. Looks to go out wide to Chambers. Chambers looking to get on the left peg, but a really good challenge from the Bees in defence. And this Fraser, who's had to be alert all game and gets well to get a toe in there.
It's the first time they were under pressure at the back without the midfield supporting the defensive unit. They'd all pushed up, they'd flung 5 bodies forward, trying to capitalise on a rare attacking possession in a good area as the Warriors back on the attack here. And again, they'll be repelled. That's nicely done. But Maddie Chambers is going to win it back before Sophie Muir can take it away. Lazinski to Bomford. Bomford spins it wide, looking for Bonnie Davies. Just keep this one in play. Davies turns. Back inside to Crawford. Tadros was there just to break it up. Excelling in that role. And now University. Burley. Let's see if they fling some extra bodies forward here. They run out of room. And see when they do get the ball in advanced areas, they're pretty quick to break forwards. Just felt that maybe could also help the Warriors a little bit. It's the only time all game they've had much space in behind to work with. This one's flicked on by Davies, who'll chase after her own header. George will collect.
Yeah, I don't think Olympia have seen a defence like this for quite some time. Possibly only in statewide cup games this year have they come across such a resolute defence. And they've looked really organised here, have the Bees. Now Pewley charging down the right-hand side, finds Innie Michael. Patient build up as always, goes back to Bomford, who's immediately pressured by Tadros. Turns away well, does Bomford, and that's a shot on goal, but too much power behind it. And again, Kalia George will claim that one. She's had to make one crucial save here this afternoon, but hasn't been pressured otherwise. That's Lazinski with a nice turn. Finds Williams. Very much Bomford sitting in, and Williams doing more of the running up top as Leon gets in front of Michael. And Williams. Nice turn again from Quinn. Olympia will now try the right-hand side. And that's a Davies. Davies turning and running at the defence. Good challenge again from the Bees defence. Bomford, who's really just sitting in and holding so far this afternoon. Pewley now runs forward, falls to Williams. Williams managing to turn and gets on the right peg, hits a shot, but it'll be thumped clear from the Bees, but only as far as Lazinski. She'll look to restart again, immediately pressured from Burley. Good intercept again from Tadros. 4 forward here for the Bees, but it's right to Maddie Black. Long ball down the line will find Sophie Muir. First advanced. She's been here this afternoon. Muir looking for Burley, but Black read that one all the way. There'll be Chambers to get it restarted.
Tadros there shadowing her, who's done some good work for the Bees. First 20 minutes here, having a really good game in defensive midfield, just breaking up the play, winning it back for her side. Forces Crawford back here, and some indecision. Burley was ducking in the end. I don't think was expecting that ball, but Olympia haven't been overly convincing passing the ball out from the back, and the University have just seized on that a couple of times. That's where their best moments have come from. It's a little bit casual at times for this Warriors team. Tadros again breaking up the play. Oh, foul line there, a little soft for my liking. Tadros paying the price there, but she really is having a good job breaking up the play. And then Bowditch at the back has just been commanding presence, directing traffic and just sitting back the deepest of the defensive line, and that last line of defence has been leading by example. The Warriors, through 20 minutes, have been left frustrated thus far.
Yeah, they've certainly not panicking in any way. They're still sticking to the game plan, and they launch one forward. Fraser's got to be aware here. Fraser beaten out to it from Chambers, and eventually clearing again as the captain Bowditch. Fraser just really wanted the ball to bounce a bit more to her liking than it did. And right there was a moment to clear it. Just gave Chambers a sniff. And a heavy touch. Saw Bowditch get across in time. That's just stayed in. Chambers jinking inside. Falls to Williams. Williams just about gets it to Bomford. She'll go storming forward. Olivia Bomford beats two. Gets on the right peg. Bomford goes again. Wants a penalty. Charlie White doesn't even give a signal as no penalty. That's how little he thought of it.
Yeah, I think the right decision. We'll have a look on the replay, but thought the ball was taken as Michael gets on this one. Bomford's starting to flash dangerously though. She's looked Olympia's most likely. She's walked past multiple defenders a couple of times now. It's just been that last line of defence halting her, but knocking on the door. It's just starting to shake at the foundations a little bit as Chambers centres it. We'll get another crack at it. Away from her again, this time by Young. Quinn, and a free kick right on the edge of the area, and this is a promising position.
Fraser was wanting a little more help there when she realised there was two players. As we have a look at this penalty shout again, Bomford has managed to beat two. Really stood her ground there, did a Lively on, and yeah, I find it hard to give that.
I'm not sure she can do much there unless she can kind of make herself disappear. She didn't move into a path, so I think that's why it was a good decision, as this one's curled in and George collects. A cheeky effort, that one from Crawford, I think it was. Trying to sneak that one in, but wasn't having it. Now it's going to be an intervention needed at the back. Did it nicely, works it to Quinn. Pressing up there was D'Angelo, but she lost it, and charging forwards now Sophie Lazinski. Lazinski just tries to play it behind Fraser, who's doing a good job defending her flank so far. She steers this one away. As the halfway is on, how the fitness of these two sides, I wonder. Certainly, you'd imagine University were doing a bit more work chasing them around, but the Super League might supposed to be a slightly more physically demanding league and have them in better shape. We'll see how that pans out. And I think the longer it stays at 0-0, the definitely the better for University in this match, as the Warriors were used to scoring for fun, and they nearly get a goal there. Michael wasn't far away from connecting to that one. A teasing ball from Jade Williams, nearly unlocking this Bees defence.
Good pace on the ball from Jade Williams. Michael did stick a leg out, but not quite long enough. I mean, Uni are probably used to slightly more intense, higher intensity games throughout the season, and possibly played a bit more on a larger pitch, such as KGV and a few others around the state. But I reckon Olympia will be in tip-top condition, as well as Bomford, showing her class and finding no one in particular, as the Bees will clear through Bowditch, setting Burley a task. Looking to put Lazinski under some pressure. Lazinski goes back to the keeper, Allenby. Good composed work from the keeper there, Lazinski. Again, back to the keeper. It's Young pressing this time. Between Black out to Pooley. And it's Bonnie Davies picking it up in halfway and getting the opportunity to turn and run at the defence. Looks to go to the outside. And it's well cleared from Tantari. Looking to definitely play through the wings. The Warriors. Davies and Chambers getting plenty of the ball.
Uni are quite happy funneling him into those wide areas, to be honest. The fullbacks have tucked in quite narrow throughout, and they're quite happy for Olympia to have the ball in these sorts of areas. This is where they suddenly start to worry, is trying to get in behind, but some nice defence, but eventually gets the better of Fraser and puts a cross in. There's lining up here. Chambers, oh, well done, Tadros. Arrived like a thief in the night and blocks that one and saves what could have been a goal, and now the break is on for University. But well blocked off there by Lazinski, intercepting the pass from Muir. Back for Chambers. Chambers for Michael. One-on-one with Leon. Tadros working back, sharp turn from Crawford. Drops it off for Bomford, and University sit off. Burley arriving from behind. Michael up against Bowditch. Bowditch with a clever little foot in, just takes it away from her. Now Tantari to Young. Young tries to find Burley. I think the ball had gone out of play anyway.
Loving the work of Uni's coach there on the sideline as soon as they won that ball back. Really charging out of his box to try and will his team on. As it was a great challenge in the end, taking it right off the foot of Chambers. But Olympia now retaining possession. It'll be Bonnie Davies working its way to Bomford. Burley tracks back. And Bomford claims again. Chambers dropping deeper than normal here to collect the ball. Quinn had pushed on. Chambers is still going. Looks for Bonnie Davies, takes a touch. Lays it back to Michael. Michael shoots and it's wide of the mark. Olympia attempting to turn the screw here, but so far, no real clear-cut chances from inside the 18-yard box outside of the one save that George has had to make.
Yeah, set off a little bit too much on that occasion, I think, with Chambers running at them. And he's inviting danger.
Good move just to switch the wingers and the fullback around and get Chambers running from deep.
One back by Burley here. But good pressure from Jade Williams, although in the end did foul. So Jade Williams, and no protestations from the Warrior there. And Sydney University, when they have had free kicks, have not been shy about pushing up the field. They've been more than content to sit in deep with Olympia in possession. When they do get a chance, they are flinging bodies forward, trying to take those moments when they come. Very cognizant of the fact that Olympia are going to control the bulk of the possession, so they need to take their chances when they present themselves. It's been a good job so far from the students. Olympia, though, starting to look be capable of bursting through as Davies threatening here and back inside through Jade Williams, goes back, but there was Tadros again. She's having a fine game, Mish Tadros. This one will elude Sophie Muir, but Tadros won the free kick. And really just N'Golo Kante type stuff here from Tadros at the moment, nipping at the heels and winning it back.
Enjoying the grunt work of Miss Tadros in the centre of the park. Was also noticing how much Bowditch is really playing an old school sweeper role here. And with Tadros dropping so deep, it's allowing Bowditch to drop off even deeper, giving herself 5 yards compared to the rest of the Bees' defence. It's working well so far. It's Olympia now through Bomford, right down the throat of Young. Olympia win it back and Bomford will have another chance to play it forward. Likes to go to Davies. Willing runner down the right-hand side. Chambers appears to have switched sides temporarily. And pass just eluding the left back there from Young. Already switching sides. We've got Bonnie Davies now on the grandstand side. Chambers on the far side.
I like that move, to be honest, flipping the wingers. I think Chambers was having a whole lot of success running down this flank, so maybe the added leg speed of Davies might see them just getting in behind. Flipping them at the moment. They're dealing with the threat pretty well in Olympia. I must say they've showed pretty good composure. They've not got frustrated, despite the fact that they're not able to break through and scoring at will this year. That was always a threat, but they've maintained their discipline for now, and this is why they've made the move. Bonnie Davies scything through, cuts it back for Williams. Williams curls it, make good contact, and be picked out by George. Just needed to try and find Innie Michael there. Playing that centre forward role today, long towards Burley. Burley is going to try and win the second ball here. That's very tidily done at the back by Sophie Lazinski. So he's not looking phased, as is Madeline Black. Sends it to the fullback purely. Further afield for Chambers. Chambers having a run here at Tantari. It's Madison Chambers, the best and fairest winner. It's Madison Chambers. It's a good block. Well done, Olivia Leon. It's the second time she's got one in the face today. Body on the line from the B centre half. The stakes today. Everything must be left out on the pitch. Here's Purely. Looks it back, but can't find Crawford. So we tick past half hour. We're still locked at 0-0.
There was a target range on Olivia Leon's head today, I'm assuming, is Falcon number 2 on Leon coming up on the replay screen. How good is it to have a replay screen as well? As that got that one right in the face, did Leon, but putting her body on the line. And the Bees defended really well in this first half an hour. I think no sign of panic from the Olympia players or their bench. But 0-0 at half time, I think would certainly have to be a win for the Bees. Throwing it in, but only as far as Michael. And Michael dropping further and further deeper. Now Crawford in a good pocket of space. Has Williams. Bonnie Davies on her outside. Elects to go back to Bomford. Bomford shoots and good block again from Olivia Leon. Starting to see Bomford charge forward a bit more from defensive midfield. And Georgia Crawford as well, staying further up top. As that one's given away as far as Tadros. Nice turn from Young, but given away. And Olympia will now try it through the grandstand side. It's Lazinski. Out to Quinn. Davies hasn't yet had a chance to run at Fraser. She'll get a chance now, Bonnie Davies. Launches that one towards the back post. Chambers retrieves, plays it back to Pewley. Back to Chambers. Now Michael looking to roll the defender, does well. Fires it well over the bar. Innie Michael. Leon used her body well and knew that any significant heavy touch out of her reach is most likely to get to the byline, and Michael just couldn't wrap her foot around it.
Yeah, I don't think they'll mind the shots coming in from that angle. Michaela George very capable of covering a near post in goals, and if they can keep them to those sort of efforts, they'll be doing well. Forcing them wide, just protecting the high danger areas has really been. We've had Leon and Bowditch just occupying the middle of the box, and the fullbacks tucking in and forcing them wide. Crawford now looking to unlock them, and that's a lovely ball. Davies is in here, but once again Bowditch saves the day. Gets a foot in just in the nick of time. Bonnie Davies so offering a threat here to Fraser. Her pace, something else the fullback having to deal with, and Michael was just lining up there in the middle. Crucial intervention. That's a clever ball for Bomford. Bomford, oh lovely, gets around Young, and then is brought down by Tadros. It was a cynical foul, but perhaps one that needed to be made.
Yeah, not the worst one, as Innie Michael was nearly in on goal after that. Lovely move and saw the sandwich opportunity there, did Bomford. Potentially an advantage could have been paid.
Possibly, although when you've got Olivia Bomford in your team, this may well be better than an advantage. He is very dangerous over the dead ball, and this is a prime position. It's Bomford. She steps up and curls it into the back of the net. They break on through the Olympia Warriors. Olivia Bomford with a top draw free kick, and it's Olympia 1, University 0.
It's been coming. Olivia Bomford over the set piece. Knew exactly where she wanted to put it. Up and over the wall. Just over 20 yards out. Bomford sizing this one up. Got the elevation, got the dip. And out of a full stretch, Michaela George. Now University in the situation where they don't want to be and is chasing the game as they'll look to get another one on the board through Quinn. Darcy Quinn trying to find Chambers, who's moved back to this left-hand side.
Good pressure.
Chambers gets past one, gets it into the box. Michael on tap, and it's in again. Bonnie Davies set the back post. It's 2 in 2 minutes for the Warriors, and they've now got their tails up.
Yep, they've broken through. Suddenly the shackles are off, and they get a second goal within an instant. And University, who had been so disciplined, so hard to break down in defence, have been unlocked twice in the space of a minute. Just a little slow to react there. It was, I think, Tentari. And Bonnie Davies swooping on it like the seagull on the hot chip and burying it into the back of the net. 2-0. And it's going to be very tough sledding now for University, having to chase the game. I was just going to say before that goal, it was a huge 10 minutes coming up. They couldn't afford to concede another one. They needed to react well to that goal, conceding. Now, things are very difficult indeed. And Olympia, it looked like they were going to be left frustrated. They're now in complete command. And University are going to need to open themselves up a bit more and chase this one, which will only open up the gaps at the back for the Warriors. 2-0. This game has done a real 180 in the space of just a minute. Chambers, confidence now flowing through the Warriors, and Chambers playing a nice 1-2 there with Williams. It's Madison Chambers with the cross, blocked away by Bowditch. Chambers immediately back on it, and she turns and goes. Just to put the cross in, drives it away by Leon. Williams and Tadros. Williams coughed it up in the end to Tadros. Then Dolo robbed of it by Crawford. Now Bomford. Misplaced pass, a rare error there from Olivia Bomford, who's had an impressive game in midfield for the Warriors. She's broken the lines and eventually she's unlocked them with that stunning free kick, which did seem to free up the Olympia players the moment it went in. There's a real sense of relief going around the group. They're used to just knocking goals in for fun this year, and the longer it went at 0-0, the longer there was the chance of something stupid happening, just some frustration leading to a poor decision, a defender feeling the need to overcommit. But they won't be having to deal with that now. They can, I don't think we'll see them sitting on the 2-goal lead, but they certainly don't need to fling bodies forward, and University are the ones who are going to have to make a change to how they've been approaching the match.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it at 2-0 until half-time, and then what they do at half-time as Bowditch gets some good purchase on that one and knocks it down the line. Olympia now in a huge rush to get the game restarted. Quinn finding the initial goal scorer in Bomford. That's the other goal scorer in Davies. Innie Michael, who will be looking to get on the board. Bonnie Davies making a lovely diagonal run, and Michael plays it through. Good covering defence from Fraser. Back to Chambers, now looking for Innie Michael. She gets there first. Good save from George. And a heavy touch in the end from Bonnie Davies. Innie Michael has probably been the quieter of Olympia's attacking trio here. Managed to get there first, but George had pretty much got the angle completely covered in that time.
It's a really intelligent run that from Innie Michael, and someone who isn't a natural striker and hasn't really played a heap of football in that position at the time at the Warriors, but just absolutely made a perfect darting diagonal run in there. Nearly led to goal number 3, which would almost certainly kill this game off. I don't think there's 3 goals in the Bees today. Wait and see. Get one back, they might start believing the pressure might come then back onto the Warriors, but the way they've set out their stall today, they were hoping to grind out a 1-0 type result. We'll see what changes they make in the second half, but Olympia firmly in command right now, and they're looking for the kill shot here as Bonnie Davies leans back and blazes over the top. They know a third goal could just about bury their opposition if they can get that before the break.
She's looking to hit that one almost like a free kick, Bonnie Davies. Really got a similar run up to the type you get from the set piece. Just blazed it over in the end. The Bees have got 5 more minutes to defend it resolutely. Olympia will continue to press though, and George takes the goal kick as far as Young. Bomford snatches this one away. It's now Purley looking to find Davies, gets the ball back. Now to Crawford. Crawford looking for Michael, but good defence again from Tadros. Finds Young. Burley storming ahead, but Young tried to take on most of the Olympia midfield there. Good covering defence from Leon. Now Pooley keeping 2 up top at the moment are the Bees, so looking to push on a tad more. Good flick towards Bomford. Cleared out as far as Chambers. Looking to take on Fraser, which she does. Bowditch coming across. Chambers had a shot on goal, but just always curling wide that shot.
Just always bending in that direction, wasn't it? But not too far away. It's very close there. She burnt off Fraser. Chambers playing with some confidence out there after taking out the best and fairest medal for the Southern Championship. Bit of a surprise over Bonnie Davies, given the sheer amount of goals she scored this season. The Golden Boot winner as Bomford will have one from range here, and George probably could have let that one roll out, but no harm done as she gathers and looks up. There's not quite the energy that was there 5 or 10 minutes ago for Uni when there was a goal kick. People would burst forward and give an option. It's a little bit staticky. You get the impression there they're paying for half time to reorganise themselves and find a way back into it.
I certainly think they are, but it's good to see the best and fairest not going automatically to the Golden Boot winner. The defender and tactical person in me really likes that. I haven't watched a huge amount of Women's Championship action this season. It's good to see the supporting cast getting some recognition as well, as Chambers now on the ball, looking to run at Fraser. Fraser taking the inside line, nearly gets there, and Leon clears well from the centre of the park. It's now Quinn. Quinn back to Chambers. Chambers, Fraser holding it ground well, not allowing it to turn, and eventually called back from Charlie White. Possibly too much of a clipping at the heels there from Fraser.
Interestingly, Innocent Michaels now just dropped back slightly deeper into a midfield role in the last few minutes, as this one's taken short quickly by Chambers. They play the 1-2, and Chambers is confident and chips one in here. Unable to pick out the late arriving Bonnie Davies, and Michaela George gets things moving quickly. Set Young a bit of a task there, too much of a task as it turned out. Seized upon by Purley, and Purley fancies a shy, but get the power to trouble George with that one. 2 minutes left in the first half here. The Warriors in control in the Super League playoff promotion game. And as it stands, it appears the Warriors are headed back to the Super League for 2019. Unless the Bees can turn things around. I imagine that's going to have to take place in the second half unless they can strike late in the first half here. We saw last night in the Strikers game how quickly a game can change in the space of a minute. And 2 goals right before the interval in that particular game, but I'm not sure University are quite representing the same threat right now.
I had a sense of deja vu with Olympia's 2 very quick goals in the first half as Quinn burst down the left-hand side, tried to put the body on to no avail. Quinn still going, knocks it back to Chambers. Chambers goes into the box. Bonnie Davies nearly gets there. Will fall to Williams. Williams turns, gets on the left peg, hits it right into the chest of Bowditch, who thumps it clear in the Burley direction. Lazinski does well initially, looking for a pass down the line. It couldn't quite keep it in play. Good pressure there from Georgia Burley, who's going to do a mountain of work up top here as we have a look at that chance. Davies not quite wrapping her foot around it. And then Williams I think wanted it on the right peg rather than the left.
You're right about Burley, Paul. She is really ploughing the furrow up top there. Has been feeding on scraps, really. Her work pressuring the Warriors defenders has been fantastic. It's just not been able to get the ball played to her feet at all as the centre forward today for Uni. It's been very tough supply lines for her, but she's certainly pressuring the defence and doing the defensive stuff well. Brilliant that from Bomford, who just couldn't put it either side of George, but the ability to skip into space and get the shot off, very impressive from me. Probably the standout player on the pitch in this first 45, Olympia Bomford.
Yeah, really controlling and dictating the tempo of the play here this afternoon. There's Olympia Bomford as we at the board signalling 1 minute of added time in this first half. Innie Michael seems to have swapped with Bomford for the moment. Lazinski out to Quinn. Quinn looking inside towards Michael. Back to Black. Cooley trying to connect with Crawford. Bonnie Davies just about keeps that in, not quite. The assistant referee on the far side calls that one out of play.
Can't think there's going to be much added time here. Gone a minute now, and been too many stoppages in this one. So the whistle probably imminent here from Charlie White, and Olympia looking to get one more before they head into the sheds. They hit the feet of Chambers once more, and Chambers gets it forward to Williams. Williams returns it for Chambers. Chambers can make it 3-0. Great save, George. Backspin. George again gets across to it. Great goalkeeping there from Michaela George, bailing her team out. A big double save, and Chambers oh so close, but it's the students still just hanging in there. That would have been a crippling blow if that had gone in.
Huge double save from Michaela George, especially to spring up after the initial save and get the backspin. The corner comes in towards that direction from 2 yards out. Olympia Bomford couldn't quite make the purchase she wanted on it, and that'll be the last action of this first half. Charlie White calls half-time, 2-0 Olympia with 2 chances in that last minute. They could have had another one.
Yeah, it could so easily be 3-0 and quite possibly a game over at that point. We'll have a look at the 2 goals. It took a while, it took till past half an hour. Uni were looking pretty compact and comfortable in defence in truth, but a set piece, a free kick in a dangerous area, and what technique from Olympia Bomford. She's such a threat from distance when she is given that time and space that the set piece affords her. And then within a minute, it was 2-0. First time all match that one of those balls into the boxes had actually been picked up by a Warriors attacking player without a shirt directly on them blocking their path. And it was a great finish from the goal machine, Bonnie Davies, to make it 2-0 and put the Warriors firmly in the ascendancy after 45 minutes here at KG5. We'll be back soon with the second half. The Bees are going to need to be more expansive and chase this one if they want to play in the Super League in 2019, because as it stands, it appears the Olympia Warriors are headed back to the top division.
Warriors, a lovely step over down the line. Looking again, the box. Michael Gurley got there with the thigh. Michael, it's eventually out for a corner.
In short and worked in by Davies. Can't quite pick out Crawford. Now Quinn tries to chip one to the back post. It stays in the field of play.
So with Williams. Back to the centre back. A lovely through ball. Looking for Chambers, who's in on the left-hand side here. It's Maddie Chambers just possibly hit that with the right.
Centre forward roll today, and she strokes this one across to Bonnie Davies, who just tried to knock it past Tantari. Wasn't having a bar of it. Now Rafaela Purely, but Innie Michael might. Innie Michael, good foot in from Tadros. Darcy Quinn back in towards Michael. Michael turning onto that right and lashing it with the laces. A great fingertip save from Michaela George.
Twisting and turning, hits the byline. Again, still going. Innie Michael knocks it back to Bomford, who puts it high. And not terrible.
The angle. She does just send it into the mixer though, and it's a good goalward header. Comfortably collected in the end by Michaela George. Is running her own race in the middle so far. Breaking lines, does it again. Launches the long shot. That's blocked away there. Pretty well so far, but Bonnie Davies slides this one in, and this is a promising build-up. Knocks it back to Bomford, who gets too much of it. It's underneath it, leans back and cracks. A chance for Young on the break. Young charging through here, Sophie Young, but coming across was Lazinski to whack that one away.
Looks to go out wide to Chambers. Chambers looking to get on the left peg, but a really good challenge from the Bees in defence. And they launch one forward. Fraser's got to be aware here. Fraser beaten out to it from Chambers and eventually clearing again. There's the cap to Bomford. She'll go storming forward. Olivia Bomford beats two, gets on the right peg. Bomford goes again, wants a penalty. Charlie White doesn't even give us
move into a path, so I think that's why it was a good decision, as this one's curled in and George collects. A cheeky effort, that one from Crawford in this match. As the Warriors were used to scoring for fun and they nearly get a goal there. Michael wasn't far away from connecting to that one. Nice defence, but eventually gets the better of Fraser and puts a cross in. There's lining up here. Chambers, oh well done, Tadros. Arrived like a thief.
Chambers is still going. Looks for Bonnie Davies, takes a touch. Lays it back to Michael. Michael shoots and it's wide of the mark.
Back, but there was Tadros again. She's having a fine game, Mish Tadros. This one will elude Sophie Muir, but Tadros won the free kick.
Down the right-hand side. Chambers appears to have switched sides temporarily.
Discipline for now, and this is why they've made the move. Bonnie Davies scything through, cuts it back for Williams. Williams curls it. Make good contact and be picked out by Tari. Madison Chambers, the Western Fairest winner. It's Madison Chambers, it's a good block. Well done, Olivia Leon.
Side, elects to go back to Bomford. Bomford shoots and good block again from Olivia Leon. Back to Chambers. Now Michael looking to roll the defender, does well. Fires it well over the bar. Innie Michael.
In and forcing them wide. Crawford now looking to unlock them, and that's a lovely ball. Davies is in here, but once again, Bowditch saves the day. Gets a foot in just. Montfort, oh lovely, gets around Young, and then is brought down by Tadros. It was a cynical foul, but perhaps one that needed to be made. He is very dangerous over the dead ball, and this is a prime position. It's Bomford, she steps up and curls it into the back of the net. They break on through the Olympia Warriors. Olivia Bomford with a top
side. Chambers gets past one, gets it into the box. Michael on touch, and it's in again. Bonnie Davies set the back post. It's 2 in 2 minutes for the Warriors, and they've now got their tail. Back to Chambers, now looking for Innie Michael. She gets there first. Good save from George, and a heavy touch in the end.
And right now, and they're looking for the kill shot here as Bonnie Davies leans back and blazes over the top. They know a third goal.
As far as Chambers looking to take on Fraser, which she does. Bowditch coming across. Chambers had a shot on goal, but she just always curling. Now on the ball, looking to run at Fraser. Fraser taking the inside line, nearly gets there, and Leon clears well from the centre of the park.
Short quickly by Chambers. They play the 1-2, and Chambers is confident and chips one in here. Able to pick out the late arriving Bonnie.
Still going, knocks it back to Chambers. Chambers goes into the box. Bonnie Davies nearly gets there. Will fall to Williams. Williams turns, gets on the left peg. It's right into the chest.
Yeah, but certainly pressuring the defence and doing the defensive stuff well. Brilliant that from Bomford, who just couldn't put it either side of George, but the ability to skip into space once more, and Chambers gets it forward to Williams. Williams returns it for Chambers. Chambers can make it 3-0. Great save, George. Backspin. George again gets across to it. Great goalkeeping there from Michaela George.
The initial save and get the backspin. The corner comes in towards that direction on from 2 yards out. Olympia bomb.
Chambers gets it forward to Williams. Williams returns it for Chambers. Chambers. You're onto a team that you're on and the public aren't. As we're back for the second half here at KG5, the Super League playoff game, Olympia taking on University here at a sunny KG5. The last 45 minutes of the Tasmania Football League season is at hand as we have a look at the goals that have the Warriors firmly in the ascendancy. It was a stunning free kick from Olivia Bomford that got the ball rolling, and perhaps the dam wall finally being broken and bursting open there, because a minute later they doubled the lead. Some nice work from Maddie Chambers down the wing here, and a great first time finish from Bonnie Davies. So two of the real key movers from this Olympia team getting the goals to have them ahead. They've dominated the match as expected. University held out pretty well for the first 30 minutes. They were certainly firing off plenty of shots, Olympia, but there weren't too many that were really threatening. But then after the two goals, then this was some phenomenal keeping from Michaela George right before the half to keep it at 2-0. The chances started to, well, they were more prime. They were much better chances and goal looks that the Warriors were getting in the last 10 minutes. Perhaps tiredness playing a part of that. And certainly University needing to chase the game means they're probably going to have some more space to operate in this second half, Paul Hunt.
Yeah, Olympia, they decide to play a little more on the counter and stick someone like Bonnie Davies just up top to use her pace, that could be a pretty dangerous option for what has been a pretty resolute defence from University in the first half. Bowditch in particular has marshalled the team well, and Tadros nipping at every attacker's heels for Olympia throughout the half. And I do think the dam wall, as you mentioned, may possibly have been broken. University playing for their future in the Women's Super League for 2019. So we're nearly ready to get underway here. My prediction of rain is looking pretty woeful at the moment as we have kicked off here in the second half. The Bees now playing towards the grandstand end. It'll be Young knocking it forward. Lazinski cutting that one out well. Looking to repel through Williams. Run was made by Chambers. It'll eventually get there via Annie Michael. Chambers can't keep it in play, but Annie Michael got to whack after passing that one forward. And that'll come back for a free kick. And I'll be honest, I thought every free kick in this sort of area would be Olivia Bomford territory.
Yeah, well, perhaps we'll just see the cross into the box on this occasion. So certainly Bomford always a threat, but she will get on the end of this one, so they do work her into the routine. She controls, that's a handball though. And she gets blown for that one. She really has been the dominant player on the park today, Bomford. Wearing the number 9, but playing that midfield role, bursting from the midfield, breaking through the lines, which are tough to break down for the most part, the Bees today. They forced the Warriors to take fairly low percentage efforts, but need to win the ball up the field and find an early goal if there's any chance in this one. Here's Davies down the right. Bonnie Davies having a run. Centres it to Georgia Crawford. It's on it. Dandolo tried to take it away, but showed too much of it to Purley, who then gives it to Williams, who tries to finesse one into the corner, and they strike early in the second half. It's 3-0. It might be game over. It would seem the Warriors are headed back to the Super League.
Yeah, time and space at the top of the box there afforded to Williams, who's really been playing the box-to-box role here from midfield really well so far today. Just set up nicely for her at the D. Purely nice little pocket of space just in the lines between the midfield and defence. And a third on the board quickly for the Warriors. Uni now through Young. Plays it to Tadros. Tries to go down the line to Olivia Young. Battles well. Davies will pick it up. Plays it to Bomford. Space on the far side for Chambers. Eddie Chambers running at Fraser. Gets past Fraser on this occasion. Looks to put it into the box, and Bowditch gets a leg up high enough to knock that one out for the first corner of the second half.
That second goal in the first half really looking like a backbreaker for the Bees. The Warriors' confidence is now sky high in University. Do they still have the belief? They're starting to get unlocked a bit, and the Warriors are looking promising again here. It's a cut back to Innocent Michael, who just rolls it in, makes it 4-0. And there's no doubt now the Warriors are definitely headed back to the Super League. And that second goal in the first half would appear to have broken the spirit of the Bees. And I don't think they're coming back from this one now.
No, I think it's Olympia Warriors who'll be back into the Super League. Eddie Michael, I'll be honest, she'll claim it, but I think that did come off the studs there for that one. Nice, well-directed finish from Eddie Michael, but I think the grin on her face slightly gives it away that it wasn't the cleanest strike that she would have hit all season.
Literally was just rolling it into the back of the net. The phrase that's often used, but very much describing that finish. Eddie Michael, and she's hungry. The Warriors are hungry to really drive a few more goals in here. Michael from the angle, she works it back. It's Chambers who shot his block there. They repel, only as far as Bomford. Well, one back here. University looking to counter through Young. It's this one surely over here. They want to try and avoid a cricket score. We've seen a few of them as far as Olympia are concerned this season, playing in the championship, which they're always going to be too dominant in. As Chambers works it to Williams, combining back with Chambers. can't quite track this one down. But look, 2 goals in a minute, just past the half-hour mark, and 2 goals in the opening couple of minutes of this half. Say you're most vulnerable just after you score. Well, today it's been just after you concede.
Yeah, once you've conceded the first, it's, if you had it together, most of them have come in quick succession here for the Warriors. So Fraser will take the throw in, and just to get it down the line, and handball called against Quinn. So we'll leave some of the pressure on University. Bowditch is looking for some options long down the field. Sophie Young's in a good pocket of space. Just dinks it in short, looking at Dandolo. Quinn playing it forward to Innie Michael. As the waft of Road Road hot chips goes all around KG5 Grandstand. A few late stragglers coming back from the halftime break. It'll be Sophie Young trying to play it to Young, but only found the 4th official. It'll be a throw into the Warriors. Black. Now Pooley manages to turn Young. Turns back inside, gets it to Bomford. The space on the far side, should she want to use it, goes to the head of Davies, who finds Innie Michael. Back to Crawford. Crawford on the right foot. Likes to pass to Innie Michael. Lovely through ball from Michael, but Bowditch read that one and knocks it out for a throw. Sitting very, very deep here in this second half. University almost back on the 6-yard line rather than the 18.
Yeah, very deep and a little bit more passive perhaps in the defending so far in this half. I think a lot of that's got to do with the mentality of the two teams. The goals have brought seemingly the weight of the world off the shoulders of the Warriors. Certainly expected to win this one today, and the longer it stayed at 0-0, the tougher it was going to be. And it might be 5 here as Chambers gets in, but Bowditch, who's an absolute pillar in that first half, steers it away. But certainly that belief seems to have gone from Uni now. And Olympia, well, they've been freed up by finding those goals. Suddenly, the pressure, the stress of the occasion is gone, and they're playing with some real freedom and confidence. The game firmly into their grasp now. They are certainly headed back to the Super League. And we think with the young core they've got, they'll be keen to give that a red-hot shake next season as well. They'll immediately be one of the title contenders. Here's Chambers looking for Michael. It falls for Davies. Well blocked by Leon. Working back was Tadros. Tadros picks out Young. Young inside to her sister, who plays the 1-2 here. Situation under control there. There's Madeline Black in command in defence today. The quick throw into Bomford, who just nods it and turns into the path, but didn't anticipate Dentolo being there for the Bees, and she's brought down by Bomford. The free kick going the way of Uni.
Great boots, Maddie Black as well. Got the kind of old school front, then a nice bit of pink and yellow at the back. All for that kind of boot styling. I like the more traditional ones. It's not a bad effort there from Madeline Black, as Pooley will throw it down the line, intercepted by Young. No free kick given, much to the chagrin of Sophie Young. Eventually, Bonnie Davies runs it out of play, and Uni will get the ball back.
Bit of a justice throw-in, baby.
Yeah, it seemed to just stand still. Time stood still there for a minute. It's Burley now. Got in behind Black for probably the first time this half, but ran out of territory. And now Allenby with their first touch. And a wonderful bit of pedantry here from Charlie White. Not sure that really was entirely necessary.
Following the rules, I guess. It's turning and going as Williams, but yeah.
That's what happens when your boss is the match manager.
As this one steered away by Bowditch before Chambers can get in behind. So we're ticking now towards the final half hour of the Tasmanian footballing season. It's the last of the games, really, in the agenda.
Are there any games left at all?
I think
There might be some catch-ups in the socials, possibly.
a couple of catch-ups. There's an under-18s North v Northwest game next week to lead into the Northern Awards night. And apart from that, I think we're just about ready to put a bow on it. Certainly in top division football, the line can be drawn underneath it after this match. And Olympia, a wasted season for many, really, playing in the lower division. Certainly not a league worthy of the talents of some of these players, and they, I think, would have really troubled quite a number of teams in the Super League this year. So it'd be good to see the likes of Chambers and Crawford, Davies, Michael, some of the best prospects in the state, really. Michael, one of the best players in the state, back in the top division. University, though, made a brave late push to avoid the relegation. Sure, they'll be right back up as Bomford is just running her own race out there at the moment. Michael drops it off for Chambers. Good foot in there from the fullback. Fraser up again. Then Young seizes on it. Really making the run through the middle. And again, Black, although misplaces the clearance, went straight to Sophie Muir. Sophie Muir looks up. And peeling back was Burley rather than making the run into the box. On different wavelengths there. So Jade Williams carries it away again. Bowditch.
Real false nine type operator is Burley up top. Really wants to get the ball to feet. I think possibly just senses in the back of her mind that Black probably have her for pace, so just wants to get the ball to feet and look to play in Muir or Young on the far side. Yeah, Olympia injustice on the players having to go through the Women's Championship. They did get some high-level games in the statewide cup. Made it through to the semis. As down the line was Chambers. Eventually, a corner conceded from Fraser. And a good run in the cup competition. Just, I think, the consistency of high-level games, or lack thereof, have potentially gone against them in that competition.
Take nothing away from Taroona in that game too. Eventual champions, and they were great value in that match against Olympia, which was one of the more entertaining games of the year. Bowditch robbed of it by Michael. Chambers, all recovered by Muir. Burley surrounded by blue shirts here. And Bomford has brought her own football to the game today. It's just not the way she's just controlled the tempo of this match. She's happy to just put her foot on the ball, bring things to a standstill when needed. Other times she's driven at the defence. She's really dictated from the middle. And it was her goal that provided the breakthrough, which seems to have really unleashed the shackles on this Olympia team today. Davies, good foot in though from Tantari. Tadros just leaning in a bit there was Davies. Advantage now to continue as Tadros threads it through for Muir. It was touch a little bit heavy, lets in Lazinski. Now Alamy just punches that one straight into touch.
I do remember you saying to me the other week that Taroona Olympia game's one of the games of the season in the women's game, which is in the cup competition. There's a few Super League games that might potentially rival that, particularly the last few we've been down at Kingborough the last few weeks. The game against Ulverston last weekend had just about absolutely everything in it, as Davies with the look-away pass to Michael. Pooley's making an inside run. Michael jinks past one. Looks to lay in Davies, but good challenge from Leon. Now fall to Muir. Quinn did well. Now Bomford laid out to Black. Davies could have had a chance to run at the defence then, but elects to knock it inside. It's Black storming forward. Michael calls for offside, not heeded. It's Williams again, a good save from George. Aimed for the corner there, did Williams, but a good outstretched save from George, who's certainly putting together a pretty good highlight reel here this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a third massive save of the match. One of them a big double save. That's a really good effort there. Full extension getting across. She's made a few really good stops today. As it looks like Mimi Refai is going to come on here in University. Corner taken first though and blocked away. And that's well saved again by George, covering the near post. Sneaky little effort there, almost weaving its way in as we have another look on the replay. Well, to get the shot off Williams, and it was probably just sneaking in off the post. Had to be saved as the wind's starting to pick up again. Really howling through, and to fix this one, George charges at it, drops it, and then is forced to just whisk it away. Initially attacked the ball well there, George, just couldn't quite collect it in the breadbasket. The substitution will be made, and it'll be Kate Fraser coming off for Mimi Refai.
And if that isn't the correct pronunciation, please let us know today rather than 6 months later.
Refai, I think it is. And yes, prompt correcting of their pronunciation
is always appreciated up here in the Slice of Cheese commentary box.
Just for the Tiellas and Tylers out there in the world.
Any reamers or rhymers either, as that one's out wide to Chambers. Chambers running at the substitute, gets on the left peg but hits it wide. George did get a hand to it in the field of play, so it'll be another corner to the Warriors. A few of their current and ex-NPL players on that far side watching on with interest. Be looking to take this one short, and they do, the Warriors. Chip ball in from Quinn, nearly handball. Michael turns and shoots, hits Leon, and Michael hits it again. Innie Michael with her second of the half. First one was successfully blocked, but the next one hits the back of the net.
Yeah, Innie Michael hits it in the back of the net there. Just misjudging the spin of the ball a bit there. Good initial block, but it's Michael who recovers the quickest. And immediately reacts by sticking it in the back of the old onion bag, and 5-0 now. Really is just a matter of how many they're going to score today. They're storming back to the Super League, the Warriors. They've come here with a bit between the teeth and a point to prove today. And they are absolutely rolling towards the top division now. 5-0. It's going to be a big victory for them. They'll be able to put this year behind them and back into the top division. Yeah, so many of these players do belong. There's Bomford in the end just controlling the ball and showing complete disregard for an opponent. Not concerned whatsoever by the defensive pressure being applied. Did not look troubled one iota. Just held off the attention and knocked it forward.
You would create a Tasmanian 11 or squad. How many of these Olympia players do you reckon you'd have in the mix? Cool. You've seen a tad more than me, but Bomford today's been absolute star for a start.
Bomford, Crawford, Michael have all previously been Tassie teams. I think probably a few others making pushes in there. Bonnie Davies. Yeah, there'd be a decent core from this team in a Tasmanian side, that's for sure. As University look to push on the counter attack here and slide it down the line. Lazinski has it controlled. Back to Piper Allenby. Won't they go? But yeah, I think they'll immediately be contenders next year. Certainly everyone will be playing chase to Ulverston after a perfect season. They are certainly the ones everyone will be looking to catch, is Maddie Chambers, who's going to continue to improve year after year. Former mini Matilda, of course, is Chambers. Another one in the prospect pipeline here. Really has broken out this season, claiming the best and fairest award. Yeah, I think you look at the Super League and the makeup of it next year. Ulverston entered the season as favourites, but we saw with Hobart Zebras this year that they went from being 20 wins and a draw to falling really mid-table with a bit of a logjam. And the young South Hobart team made big strides. So this one's crossed in. So there's no reason that the Warriors can't jump straight in and immediately challenge for a title. So there's only one team that you immediately go, yep, well, they're a distance ahead. Can they catch them? And stronger, physically mature bodies would give them the edge in a game with Olympia. But they fought a pretty good battle with Taroona. I think they're definitely in that second tier of teams. And of course, we don't know what the playing groups are going to look like next year in the Super League. We'll see what players stick around at which club.
But while we're on mini Matildas from Tasmania, congratulations to Amy Medwin winning the Women NPLW Minor Premiership with South Melbourne yesterday. Another feather in the cap for Tasmanian football.
Yeah, going from strength to strength up there into Victoria is Amy Medwin, having a fantastic season in that South Melbourne team. Former Warrior, of course, was...
Handy sharing the pine with Lisa Devanna as well yesterday. Handy person to have next on the team sheet.
Not bad company. You know, if you're feeling bad about finding yourself on the bench, to look across and see Lisa Devanna there would be comforting, I would imagine. As this one's worked forward and George will pick it up. Yeah, I don't think you wouldn't feel too bad about that.
No. Has been a starter for the majority of the season, though, I believe.
Indeed.
Amy Medwin is the Warriors now through Williams. Now to Chambers. Chambers has Innie Michael in short. And trying to twist and weave. And in the end, it's just to pick out a university player. It's Young looking to find Muir. Lazinski chinking and turning into attack. Innie Michael got 3 willing runners. Lazinski's gone up and joined and wants to get on the act. It's Innie Michael searching for a hat trick. Williams to Lazinski, who's in nosebleed territory up that far, and cut it back to the top of the box here. Unfortunately, only Dendolo was there waiting. Lazinski really pushing forward from centre back there.
Don't mind it, 5-0 lead. The other team all parked back in defence. Ever the situation called for a defender to just go, stuff it, I'm going myself here. This may well be the moment. Sophie Lazinski trying to get on the score sheet. Slotted back into left back spot for now, but throw in taken to Chambers. University under pressure here from Darcy Quinn, who chips it into the Michael direction. Leon did enough to put her off. And Bowditch puts it into touch out there. About 25 minutes remaining in the season here. Chambers gets around one. Advantage paid. A foot in, disrupted it, and Leon clears away. To Purely. Looking for Bomford. Stepping in was Young. Now Sophie Lazinski taking over at the back. Moves it down the line for Chambers. Chambers with a good ball for Jade Williams. Williams slides it across for Georgia Crawford. Georgia Crawford holds it up, drops it back for Michael, who bends one, and George gets down to cover it. And it's been an absolute shelling Michaela George has been on the end of today. Been on constant bombardment. Has stood up pretty well under it, all things considered. Certainly not much you could do about the goals, and sooner or later the pressure was always going to tell.
He is very much like the Persian Empire trying to withstand a Greek barrage today is Michaela George. As you see a substitution for the Warriors. And if they've heard that over the PA, but it's Jade Williams coming off, Heather Russell coming on.
George just punches this one straight to innocent Michael. That's ill-advised. It's a forward, Tantari. Plays it off of Davies for the throw-in. Throw-in. Young. It's out of play. Did it take a touch? Both hands fly up in the air. That tells you too much. Sophie Young unable to convince the linesman on this occasion. Down the line. Mish Tadros breaking up the play. Quite been as effective in that role in this half as she was the first. Tiring bodies in the university defence have struggled to maintain that discipline for the full 90. Rigid adhering to the structure that was holding up so well early on, but as soon as they went behind, it was going to really change the complexion of this one. They weren't going to be able to keep parking the bus, as it were, and absorbing, especially when the second goal flew in a minute later. And from there, really, Olympia have run away with it. The confidence has been exuding from these players, and Bomford has been at the heart of it. She puts this one out ahead of Chambers and won't quite be able to track it down. Throw in. His first ever Super League promotion playoff game. Imagine University would be the red hot favourites to get back in from the championship next year, whether there is enough teams to really warrant promotion and relegation to the Super League. I'm not entirely sure, but certainly I guess Olympia had to be offered a path back in after they were removed. We'll see. I think
could very much just have the playoff if the team wishes to go in. As Davies is in here on goal, rolls it past an out-rushing Michaela George. And Bonnie Davies gets the second of the match.
And rolling it home, making it 6-0, really putting an exclamation point on top of this one. That's a wonderful ball from Crawford. Very easy on the eye, that football. One-touch finish. This is what Bonnie Davies has done all year and what she'll be looking to do to the Super League defences next season. And they'll be well advised to be on guard. She's got some serious wheels, has Davies.
That pass from Crawford, though.
Just dissected it.
Managed to put 4 players completely out of the game with one pass. Did Crawford there. It was exceptional. And yeah, just back to if we'd have a similar playoff next year, I guess if whoever wins the championship has interest in going into the Super League, you'd have it again. And if not, you would just keep it as is. And they sometimes have in particularly Iberian football, where it's second division, where the reserves of first division teams are in the second division, as Innie Michael now gets to the top of the box, but is eventually cut out from Tadros, who I think is certainly winning the tackle count here this afternoon. Nearly pinched by Michael. That'll relieve some pressure on University. Young only finding Crawford, who was hoping Bomford was going to run a bit further forward there. Burley gets past one. Georgia Burley trying to play in Muir, nearly gets there and just getting a toe in. It was Quinn. Not sure whether to pick it up was Piper Allenby, but I think it'd be very harsh to adjudge that a back pass.
Very harsh indeed as Chambers gets on the ball and have a run at them. Sauntering it through the middle of a sunny KG5 and sliding a good ball through for Bonnie Davies. Davies drops it back for Crawford. Crawford to Michael, lining up through the middle here, and Bomford is going to get another chance here as they've conceded a free kick in a similar position to where it all got started today. Just past the half-hour mark, they conceded a free kick in a dangerous spot. And Bomford stepped up. The rest, as they say, is history.
It's in that area where it could possibly be too close to the goal, that I think someone of Bomford's quality should still be able to get it up and down in the 20 yards.
Yeah, the way she's been playing today, you wouldn't bet against her. So Olivia Bomford, can she do it again? She steps up and kills this one just over the top. Just getting under that one a little. Quite the technique we saw on the earlier one as University heads to their bench again with Zoe Lovell coming on to replace Sophie Muir. We'll see what the Super League looks like next year. It looks like it will be one without University and one with the Warriors. It is harsh on Uni. Have been great supporters of the women's game here, but I don't think 9 is too many for a top tier. I personally would have 6 if it was Sir Andrew running football here in the state. We'd have a 6-team comp, but it's going to be 8. And I do think 9, and that's in a bye. Structurally, it makes it tough, and I'm sure there's really the depth in personnel to be having it anyway. I think the easy fix is you get rid of the 2-team requirement.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
probably does more benefit than anything.
As long as you can keep it at 8 if you do that. I think 8 is it's good for parity. It's good for getting more women interested in getting to as high a level as possible. You've probably got a little more than I have, but from what I've seen this year, we're keeping it at 8, possibly for another season at least, and reassessing just to see how pretty much the 8-team would work without the 2-team rule. I think would be interesting as Chambers now surges into the box, picks out Innie Michael, but right down the throat of Michaela George, who holds on well from close range. Very good handling skills does George. Doesn't often see shots from that closer range tend to fall to the feet of an on-rushing striker. Claimed that one well. Yeah, I personally would like to see a season of an 8-team Women's Super League without the two-team rule and see how much of a difference that makes. And if there's still some teething issues there, then possibly drop it back to 6 after that.
Fingers crossed, Paul, as this one is Chambers up against the referee. He does pretty well, slides it through for innocent Michael, who's really got her tail up. She is playing with confidence and looking hungry for a hat-trick, I think, Innie Michael. Really powerfully charging at this defence as Chambers entering the area here, and that's it back for Michael. Got a fair bit of power on that for a non-preferred leaning back behind you pass. She really got some good power on that effort, Innie Michael. Just couldn't quite steer it either side of the keeper. But
I think she's thinking that if you're going to put me up top, boss, I'm going to get at least a hat-trick, because that's a lovely bit of skill from Chambers. Knocks it back and curling over the top. In the end, it was Maddie Black. Nearly looped up and over the keeper. On the bobbling pass in her defence was dished out. And we'll have George taking the goal kick. Young is in a good pocket of space right on the touchline, but knocks it to Innie Michael. Now it gets out to Young. It'll be Pooley. Shepherd that one out for a throw-in, taken quickly. Gets the return ball off Crawford. Davies. Innie Michael. Davies pulling up a little sore after that one. Cleared as far as Tadros. He knocks it right to Maddie Chambers. Chambers trying to find some space on the left-hand side. It's a good covering challenge from Refi to put it out for a corner.
They might well look to take it short once again, Olympia. They've loved the short corner today. Frequently doing that, and once again, that's the routine they go. And Chambers has been having quite a bit of success getting that first defender. Tadros comes in and impacts that. Then Bodic steers it away. Picked up by Lazinski. Lazinski forward for Chambers. Can't quite get in behind Rafai on this occasion. Rafai does well. The pass unable to link up with fellow substitute Zoe Lovell out there. Lazinski. Montford. Back to Lazinski. Now across to Davies. His roaming shoe repairs seem to have worked. Drops it off for Purely. Purely to Crawford. Shadowed by Tadros, as she frequently has been today. And Tadros still fighting hard and scrapping away here, doing well for Uni. She's not giving up the ghost, even though the result has long since been determined.
It would be a handy pickup for any prospect. She would like to stay in the Women's Super League, Miss Tadros. And very good work today in that destroyer midfielder role.
I think many Super League clubs could do with a Miss Tadros in the midfield. I'm quite happy with her quality and has shown it again today. Able to get the ball away from Innie Michael on this occasion though, and Michael's driving and she fancies a shot. And again, not about the technique, but it worked on that occasion for George. Down on the knees and keeping it out. I think you see that in too many goalkeeping manuals, but at the end of the day, if you keep the ball out the back of the net, that's all that really matters.
It's a good way to prevent the ball not rolling through the legs, a la Massimo Taibbi. So, I mean, I'm all for it. Getting a Massimo Taibbi reference in on the last week.
Yeah, the niche references have flown as the season's wore towards the end here. It's been a long year, folks. While we're on niche references, shout out to Andy if you're watching, our Slice of Cheese #1 fan from last night. Hope you're enjoying some Women's Super League action here this afternoon. I've got no doubt our Greek fan would certainly be tuning in, really enjoying our work on the different ball game last night. This one's worked forward to Young. Knocks it back to Crawford. Again, like a cheap suit was Tadros. Purely. Shut down by Young. Takes it back. Tari. First touch from Olivia Young. And shipped over the top, but once again Lazinski has the situation under control, and I'm not sure that Piper Allenby has had to make a save today. The stats from Molly next to me, 1. a block shot. Well, there you go.
Okay.
You won't get too many easier days at the office than what Piper Allenby's had today. It's been dominance from the Warriors, which we did expect coming in, but unfortunately, they conceded one. The dam will rather burst. The game, whilst it was 0-0, still a sense that University could threaten something on the counter. In truth, they've not offered a lot in the final third.
I think our live blogger for today, while he'll miss the rain-swept Alinda Grove blogging when you miss out on a spot in their lovely club rooms, it was alluded to during the week. I'm sure she'll be devastated being stuck out in windy Mount Nelson.
Well, to be fair, she does coach the reserves, so I reckon she probably will feel the result fairly hard. So I think that's probably going to take preference over comfort vlogging. Oh. There's still Wentworth Park to contend with.
Well, there is still Wentworth Park. That is also a nice one of wind.
Kelvedon Park. I mean, Super League's got a couple of good ones.
It's the one. I'm probably going to stick with it. It's the one benefit NPL Tas has over Women's Super League is lack of less windy grounds. Well, although in NPL's defence, more prone to flooding, as we've seen in TCA ground over. Usually get a flood at field the women's grounds.
Yeah, I haven't seen the pump being brought out for a game as Chambers waltzes into the box, crosses for Crawford, who was just behind her, agonisingly so, as they went for seventh heaven. Not to be on this occasion, as Uni try and find a consolation marker, but it's pretty static out there right now. A heap of movement, and they turn it over a bit too easily there through Young. And Bomford just changes direction. She's so good at just having a look before she receives the ball and knows exactly where she wants to get to it when he gets and turns, as they're carrying it forwards here. Knocks it back to Bomford again. All the pace out of this game at the moment. Crawford, good foot in from Leon. Good foot in from Young, wins it away. Now looks ahead and just knocks it up for Burley, but Lazinski's had her covered today. And says Black.
I think I'm going to petition as we break away from that. Burley nearly in on goal there. I'm going to petition for a separate highlight reel today, just of Olivia Bomford turning on the ball. I'd watch that all day. As Lazinski does well to find Bonnie Davies. Looking to really stay on that right peg is Bonnie Davies. Going down the line, jinking inside. Chambers is in a pocket of space on the left-hand side, and that's where she goes. As Bonnie Davies returns. Unfortunately, gets a bit too much air on that one after claiming the return ball. And we'll see a couple more subs here for the Warriors. Just a reminder, 5 subs allowed here this afternoon.
Double substitution being pulled here by the Warriors is Josie Mamich coming out for a run. It's Kimberly Cure, the other player, who's snuck on there for the Warriors. Tedros gets a little bit of a push in the back from Innocent Michael. So the final 10 minutes of the season now. It's been a pleasure bringing it to you. All sorts of games. Probably not the high point of the season, the final game here. Certainly not a touch on the South Hobart Zebras or the Kingra Launceston City games or Olympia Taruna in the Cup. There's been some classics played this year we've brought to you. This probably won't rank amongst them, but an important part of the season all the same in determining the make-up for next year.
The spectacle at North Hobart in the first round is a really good place to start, I think, this season. It's great to see on the hallowed turf of North Hobart Oval, getting a good run out. Zebras and Southers, that's an initial shot. George, I think, got a bit of help off the post there. Good save in the end from George.
Very good keeping.
No, very good keeping. No use of post there.
We have seen keepers in the Super League struggling with those high balls this year. There's been a lot of goals from chip shots, but George has looked really good above the ice today. Strong, commanding keeping performance. She can't be faulted. You often look at a scoreline and go 6-0 and go, oh, wouldn't want to be the keeper in that team, but I think she's probably been, along with Tadros and Bowditch, Uni's best player today. Probably has been their best player, Michaela George. She's fought really well in there. She's made some big saves, but ultimately there's only so much you can do. And the sheer weight and volume of the chances that's been flying at her have beaten her today, but there'd be a lot more if it weren't for Michaela George's efforts between the sticks, and has finished the year really well. I think the back half of the season has been arguably the form keeper of the competition for mine. This one rolls behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, certainly been very impressive today. I think between her and Tadros have been the best players for uni here today, as Olympia, as alluded to before, will make their 4th substitution of the day. Not something terribly used to in world football, but it is allowed here this afternoon. Also just seeing there's a distinct lack of air horn being brought here today.
Yeah, Francis Gallen is
here.
Rocking the loud shorts as per, but no air horn. So slightly less loud than usual. He would have had good opportunity to use it. There he is, the great man, Francis Gallen there.
I'm trying to give him the international symbol for air horn here, which I've just completely invented.
Was accurately depicting his usual celebratory efforts as Georgia Crawford picks this one up, slides through another lovely through ball for Davies. Davies will cut it back. Bowditch will be pretty disciplined today and blocks that one. But some of the passing of Georgia Crawford today, when she's been able to escape the shackles of Tadros, has been very impressive. Just picks them apart. You cannot give Georgia Crawford time on the ball. She'll unlock you. No real urgency for the corner here.
Took me a while to see that. The infamous KGV pole in my way for that one. And I mean, I think they're going to make this sub. Jono Colcroft is standing by as the 4th official, waiting to put the board above his head. Charlie White, though, not on the bar of it at this stage. Davies whips it into the mix-up, falls over the top from Maddie Black, the centre-back, in prime position, just leaning back a tad.
So Edie Michael doing it nicely today, dominated one of the best players in the state. And has shown that again today, stamping her class all over the KG5 pitches. Sophie Flack comes on to have a few minutes at the end and replace her. Real shades of Juventus when they got relegated to Serie B about this for me. I mean, the dominant team all year in the second tier. They've been a team out of the competition you'd expect, and they're going to win promotion pretty comfortably at the end of the day, and I guess the normality has been restored as a result of this process.
Any excuse for me to compare Maddie Chambers to Pavel Nedved is greatly appreciated, Andrew Cooley. There's the university.
Because that makes any Michael David Trezeguet. Similarly effective in the final third.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That, well, which one? I'm trying to think who would be centre mid then for Bomford. Anyway, Flack. That one's shepherded out of play from Olivia on. Spanish. Not quite getting to that one. Obviously, Allenby's shoe-in to be Buffon. Trying to think of anyone else relegated in similar circumstances. There's been a few in the British football realm, but that's mainly due to dodgy ownership and point deductions and things like that, rather than scandal. We're thinking Portsmouth with that one.
So Young knocks this one back. Running out of real estate there. The Bees. Yeah, throw in here, and the dying embers of this one, the Olympia Warriors storming back to the Super League for season 2019. I think we've seen today they will immediately rank amongst the contenders. You've got Ulverston, and there wasn't much between Taroona, Zebras and City this year in that second tier, and I think you instantly slide the Warriors in there with those teams. South Hobart too. Impressive season. This one's made by Young. Lifted forward for Burley. Pretty well held today. Burley, been impressed by the job Lazinski and Black have done in defence today. called into action frequently, but when they've had to, they've answered the bell nicely and held these counter-attacking moments that University were looking to profit from. And they've just snuffed them out before anything could really develop. It's been a dominant display from the Warriors. They've been in complete command, really, from start to finish. It took them about half an hour to break through, but from the moment they did, they have not looked back. They will storm into the Super League and end this season picking up a little bit more silverware as Maddie Chambers beats one. Maddie Chambers then sliding it through. And queuing up in the middle. She returns it to Chambers though, and Chambers tries her luck and finds the side netting only. As we tick into stoppage time now in the final game of season 2018, there'll be 2 minutes of added time.
In addition to the 2 minutes of added time, we'll have another substitution from University. So it's Emma Ward, number 14, coming on, just trying to keep warm and waiting for the next stoppage. Lovell manages to keep it in. It'll be a young Emma Ward on the sideline, in danger of having a real Dong Fang Shuo type operation here, of coming on in the 91st minute and not getting a touch.
Well, if she can get on, can the Warriors just maintain the ball for 80 more seconds? It's a possibility as they're on the attack here, but no, they won't, because the interceptor was there, and Tadros
taking the throw in too quickly of the Warriors.
Oh,
there's two horrifically niche Manchester United references in this last game.
I'm not going to lie, I had no idea who that last reference was. I just thought I'd let you run with it. As Sophie Young makes way here for Emma Ward, which will be, I suspect, the final substitution of this season. Slightly disappointed there's been no final slices of cheese dished out today. No need for that to come out, but they've still got 40 seconds if anyone wants to just do something silly. This one's worked for by Flack.
I mean, I think Olympia have got enough cheddarish colour on them to last us the season. Lovell, don't know if that'll count as a touch for Emma Ward. Event got there, but not quite in the field of play.
20 seconds left here, the final whistle surely imminent in season 2018. A look at the watch from Charles White. We're in the dying moments here. Olympia have taken care of business. They entered today firmly expected to win this one despite being the championship side, and they have delivered as expected. It's been a professional job from them. They're a young team, but they've shown great maturity today, and from the moment they took the lead, they haven't looked like doing anything but winning this one comfortably. University pushing for a late goal. They've not had a shot on target today though. It's been one-way traffic. That might yet change. Burley, can she pull one back late here for the Bees? It's Burley driving, and Piper Allenby is finally called into action. But there we know consolation goal here as Allenby tips it onto the post and behind for a corner.
93rd minute. Well, we have a shot on target. Piper Allenby having to stay alert there at a near post. Uni's first corner of the game potentially as well. It is.
Get up there, Keeps.
Keep up.
She started the year as a striker, Michaela George. She should finish the year as one. As the corner's swung in. Barely the target off the back there, and Lazinski should be able to clear for the Warriors. And that will be that. The Olympia FC Warriors return to the Super League. They win the first ever of its kind in Tasmania playoff promotion game here. They consign University down to the championship after they finished on the bottom of the Super League this year. The champions of the Southern Championship will leap into the Super League, and in many ways you feel they're back where they belong, this playing group, for season 2019. It's been a very long season here, but it's been a pleasure bringing it to you. It's been wonderful entertainment in Tasmanian football this year, from playoff promotion games to halfway goals to step ladders. We've had it all in season 2018. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing it to you. More slice of cheese, and a big thanks once again to Ash and Luster, the Buy On Stream Dream Team, bringing you the vision every week. It's been a great pleasure to work with them this year, and that will be a wrap on the season for us. There is no more coming your way. The last of the games as this local season ends, and it ends with Olympia triumphant. They will hoist the trophy as the playoff premiers, and the university huddling up there down to the championship. But this game is about the Warriors, and congratulations to them.
Yeah, they've thoroughly deserved the win here today. An undefeated season for the Warriors earns them promotion to the WSL. Trophy presentation, short and sweet, being dished out here. Edwards, Michael Edwards. President George Marcus enjoying that one in the background as well.
At the end of the season, go away, enjoy your summer, and we'll see you next year. Thank you, everyone.
It's a nice recap on the season there from Michael Edwards. We'll leave you with the team photo of the playoff winners into the Women's Super League. Thank you very much for joining us throughout the season. We'll hopefully see you next year. And thank you very much for tuning in.
Absolutely. Bear, glad you're on the board.
And it's Olympia 1, the university side.
Chambers gets past one, gets it into the box. Michael on tap, and it's in again. Bonnie Davies set the back post. It's 2 in 2 minutes for the Warriors, and they've now got their tails up.
Yeah, they've broken through. Like, trying to take it away, but showed too much of it to Purley, who then gives it to Williams, who tries to finesse one into the corner, and they strike early in the second half. It's 3-0. It might be game over. It would seem the Warriors are headed back to the Super League.
Yeah, time and space at the top.
Like, trying to take it away, but showed too much of it to Purley, who then gives it to Williams, who tries to finesse one into the corner, and they strike early in the second half. It's 3-0. It might be game over. It would seem the Warriors are headed back to the Super League.
Yeah, time and space at the top.
Do they still have the belief? They're starting to get unlocked a bit, and the Warriors are looking promising again here. It's a cut back to Innocent Michael, who just rolls it in, makes it 4-0. And there's no doubt now the Warriors are definitely headed back.
Chip ball in from Quinn, nearly handball. Michael turns and shoots, hits Leon, and Michael hits it again. Innie Michael with her second of the half. First one was successfully blocked, but the next one hits the back of the net.
Yeah, Innie Michael.
Could very much just have the playoff if the team wishes to go in, as Davies is in here on goal, rolls it past. And out rushing Michaela George. And Bonnie Davies gets her second of the match.
And rolling it home, making it 6-0, really putting an exclamation point on top of this one. That's a wonderful ball from Crawford.